99% of the information I send out does not get shared. And I send that same information to Ontario basketball. I send that same information to Canada basketball. Anything I do. And the result is it travels about that far. So, I mean, I feel your frustration. I feel it on this end because even for this panel discussion, we were very excited about the opportunity to share this information. And I knew leading up to this that it was only circulated about that far. That's using Facebook, databases, all that kind of stuff. And then, you know, thank God for videotape. You know, we'll videotape it, and hopefully we can share with people that way. But that goes back to, again, the type of infrastructure is one thing, but also a willingness to share information. We are really stubborn about sharing information. We, right away we see something, we want to delete it, we don't want to forward it, we don't want to share it, we don't trust it, but we want to check it out for ourselves.
I was just going to say quickly to follow up. I mean, Wayne touched on Facebook, and I think a lot of you use it very well in Facebook, Twitter. I do think it'll take time, but I can tell you that I've seen from Facebook, Twitter, social media, how it democratizes the process. And I'm a journalist, and I know a lot of the Star, Globe, Sun reporters that don't necessarily give enough attention to what you guys do. But now there are interested parties that are doing it themselves, and Canada B-Ball Report, and all these guys that are positive and are taking a positive spin. And you can literally see, with example, the All Canada Classic, journalists that didn't go that now look silly because other journalists did go because they were following some high school or university kid who tweeted about it for 3 weeks. So now Holly McKenzie goes, puts it on her blog, and now some of the other guys look silly because they don't know what Mike Congo did in that game or what Kevin Pangos did in that game. So I think, like you're all saying, you're doing a yeoman's effort, you're doing incredible work, all that you can do. But I do think to continue, for those of you that are and for those of you that haven't get into it, to put the word out there, not just by email, but Facebook, Twitter, because you never know who will find it.
I want to make a comment about the resources, and again, kind of going on to that LTAD model. This is a lot larger than basketball. This is something that, amazingly enough, the world is actually studying, actually sending people from the Australian Institute of Sport, England, Germany, to actually look at this model itself. So we have one of these PhD students working amongst us. She's a skill acquisition specialist, right? And she's actually doing research on looking at whether or not this model actually works. Imagine that, from Australia, looking at what our model is, whether it's working or not. Another important thing is that model, everyone's harping and kind of hating on what's actually going on, but people just aren't informed or aware of how big this movement really is. It's actually going to become part of core phys ed curriculum. LTAD, even when you're speaking about the language that's being used, physical literacy, right? Mike George was speaking about about working with the younger kids. Well, for one really important thing, we don't want early specialization. One thing that's really because that doesn't seem to work. Because when you take a look at the most successful athletes, it really seems that they actually had a wide range of different sport exposure prior to them actually starting to specialize. And is basketball like an early specialization sport? No. That's what the leading research is actually pointing out. And kind of going back to, speaking about your comment about distributing and kind of spreading this word, it's actually a lot bigger amongst all the different type of chunks that are going on. So there is tremendous resources. I mean, we had Toronto Sports Council, and I guess they've kind of seen basketball as this great opportunity to kind of start and spreading the word there. And their whole purpose is to try to actually create that resource for everyone to share. So, just kind of some important things to kind of share, that there are some really great things that are going out there to kind of be positive about, because a lot's changed and a lot of things are actually moving forward. So I just want to kind of throw that out there in a positive spirit.
Terry touched on one of his prerequisites for any of the student athletes is that they're in the academic stream. Do the same requirements, or academic stream or anything applied this time?
Well, you know what? I taught for 12 years, and on the camera, I'm going to say I have certain issues with applied stream. And my daughter, when she just started high school, and I remember her in grade 8, she was picking her classes, and she didn't do that well, and I think it might have been English, and her teacher put her in applied without my knowledge. And I was very upset about that, and I had to have a good conversation with her teacher because I work in a high school, and I know that if we make the time for our kids in terms of providing them with additional tutoring and support like we're supposed to, then the majority of the kids who are in applied stream will be fine.
Yeah.
So like my thinking on the applied is like it should only be an option for the rare few. Until a child's had an opportunity to really get an opportunity with support in an academic stream, then you make a decision whether, okay, you know what, we might have to pull this when it comes over. So as far as me and anything I do, I mean, applied is a last, would be an absolute last resort, and that's after a lot of support, providing some support for them.
What I was saying is, like many kids that come to all of us, I mean, they get an 11th grade, and then look at the transcript and say, okay, they've been railroaded down that route, and their parents, their support systems didn't take them out of it. There's still options for that.
Oh, is there options for them? So, you know, the option always there, but the challenge is they're going to have to go backwards. They're going to have to take those prerequisites and come back in. So, you know, I mean, I personally don't like working with I personally don't want to start off with a lot of grade 12s, 5th years. I personally would like to start off with as many grade 9s and 10s as possible. That way, worst case scenario, if they're grade 10 and they've been applied for a little while, there's time we can recover and make it up. Once they start hitting grade 11 and 12, like me personally, you know, that's going to be really challenging to be able to get them, you know, back on track academically. And you know, I've already had some discussions with Earl about as far as, you know, maybe they can get started with me, but at some point they might be in a situation where, you know, it's great we're developing this relationship where now a student like that might pick up the phone and say, hey, bro, you know, here's somebody who's coming in late, they've been applied, you know, do you have room in your situation for them? Okay, Mike, can you help me with this, you know, this student, he came in late to my program, I can't help him academically. So that's hopefully, you know, I mean, that's not hopefully, but these are the kind of things that we're planning on doing.
Those are good situations for the U.S. to have developed.
Yeah, those would be good situations. But you know, we're working through it.
Just two quick things. When I say younger, I meant like grade 5, 6, 7, 8 type of thing, and not necessarily basketball specific, but sports academies. I think there's one in Hamilton that just started with basketball for elementary. I don't know if you guys heard of it, but that's like Vassell, Sacramento, Baltimore kids. They're all good because they spend 5 days a week training, and you'll see the difference in the way they play compared to the other kids in Ontario. And then I know there's some other sports schools that are trying to get started as well. And then my second thing, which some people probably think about, is how much does it cost for, it really comes down to cost for your school, for REDA, for training. And that's, you know, we struggle collecting $150 to go on a trip to the U.S. So I don't know, and I'm figuring your cost must be a little bit more.
Yeah, for my guys, last year I charged $3,000 to come to it. With that, some people paid up front, some people had to go on a payment plan. I just compared it to hockey when I paid for hockey. And I said, okay, I paid $5 for hockey. You know, what's $3? You put, you know, $5 down, $200 a month for the year, and you get pretty close. With us, for fundraising, we do a lot of clinics, and that's how we fundraised our trip to France last year. Our international trip, we went to France. We did in Lille, and tournament, we lost to the Americans in the bronze medal game. It was a great experience, just because our guys were 16 and 17, they were playing against 23-year-old men. You know, but basically that's what it is. And I've started to adopt an athlete program. I went and got $10,000 from people I knew, the university and corporate supplement some of the kids that couldn't do it. And that's what I got for the year.
What was that $3,000 from?
That covers their transportation, their hotels, their practice time, their insurance in Canada, their insurance in the States, practice strip, everything except for food. That's what
I worked out two budgets. You know, the higher end of it was about $5,000 for a year, and that's what really prompted me to have discussions with Will and Terry about forming an Ontario Prep Association, because the bulk of the costs, you know, is competition, is traveling and going to those competition. So once we started looking at how we could create a schedule at home, then now also that budget dropped to $2,500 to $2,000 for the year, because we were able to find ways of creating almost 15, 20 games of competition at home, which is huge. So if we're going to put together a solid, 40-game, schedule for the year, if you can get half of those games at home, also now the price will drop. So for us, I mean, I started out, at about $5,000, which included, travel, a ton of gym rental, because we're a specialized program. To be considered a specialized program, we can't train in the facility. So we can't go and train in Vaughan and call ourselves a special performance program. So our competition, our training has to take place outside of the building. So that means that's a lot of gym costs, a lot of training costs, and then obviously equipment costs that go along with it. But the competition piece, taking care of this competition piece at home has really allowed us to drop the budget down a lot. And $2,500 for the year, that's $250 a month. Right, for a specialized program where you can train 5 days a week, compete on a level that's better than any high school program, within the GTA area.
All right. Well, I think that's pretty much it. I know that we're probably overeating right now, but I thank everyone for coming out, and definitely, if someone wanted to get a hold of you or your website, what is it?
At www.FITSToronto, like FITS-Toronto.com.
Mine's www.REDA-Canada.com.
www.phase1canada.com.
Yeah, but also, we're going to be doing more with this Canadian Basketball Council, and people have been asking about what is it? Well, essentially, it's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to find opportunities to provide information for people on a wide range of things, not just prep school. So this is hopefully this is the beginning for us, and look for us to take this tape, put it together, make it available. Any sort of notes, transcripts over the course of what we do, make it available, make our contacts available, and develop more contacts that we can bring to you as well too.
Well, the Grassroots has a website, grassrootscanadabasketball.com, and it has our contact information that you can reach, and our school's website is cfcacademy.org. And if anyone wants any further information about it, you can give me a call or email.
And now it's www.basketball.com. All the information.
All right, thank you.